Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the April 10th, 2021 Vinyl Treasure Show. We are here from 10 to 1 a.m. here on a Saturday evening. Sorry that I am late, as looking for the requests, very difficult with 150,000 45s. I can't wait to retire. Don't tell my company yet, but once I do that, I will not be tardy anymore, I can tell you that much, because I just don't have enough time in the middle of the day to do, in the middle of the week, to put together the show with all the correspondence that I get during the week. But I'm here, and I'm glad to be here, and I hope you are too. We opened up tonight's show with, actually, when Alan Freed moved to WABC, a radio in New York City, he hosted a show between June of 1957 to, I think, around December 1959. And that was a theme song that he picked up in early 1958 by the Gone All-Stars, a.k.a. Buddy Lucas and his band. It was called 7-Eleven, which is really a rock and roll version of a Perez Prado song from 1950 on the RCA label, if you're familiar with Mambo Number 5, which I have on the RCA label. Anyway, it was the first of two for the Gone All-Stars on George Goldner's Gone record label, and this record charted number 60 on Cashbox, number 30 on Billboard. It was a big number 3. If I got it right, Charlene, is it WITH? Is that a cool station in Baltimore, Maryland? Anyway, I open it today, December 57, the Gone All-Stars. I think Rick and Philly likes that tune also. 7-Eleven is the name of the tune on the Gone label. Enough of my babbling here. Let's go to the vocal portion here. With a group from Philadelphia, they had 5 releases on Sid Nathan's Deluxe label. Let's give a listen to their second. It was co-written by their lead singer. His name is James Brown Robinson. We open up from November 1957 on Deluxe. These are the Guytones with She's Mine.
She is mine. Whoa, whoa. She's mine, and I love her so. I want the world to know that she's mine. She's mine. She belongs to me, and that's the way it must be. That she's mine. I love her, yes, I love her so, and I'll never let her go. She fills me, yes, yes, oh so fine, and yes, yes, I know she's mine, she's mine, yeah, she's mine, oh yes, I know she's mine, she's mine, yes, she's mine, oh,
What a cool tune to open up the vocal portion there. The Guytones there with James Brown Robinson on lead, November 1957 release on the Deluxe label, song entitled She's Mine. All their releases are excellent on the Deluxe label. That record, I found that record at the 303 Drive-In in Flea Market in Orangeburg, New York. I probably heard that song first on George Tompkins' show when he was on the in Westchester Community College broadcasting his show. Probably first heard it there. It was on my want list. I probably fell off my chair. Well, I wasn't sitting in a chair. I was standing up at the time looking at boxes of records and all these still photos of movie photos, which I probably should have purchased because they were cheap. The records were like 50 cents a piece. And they were all in the original sleeves. I mean, they were mixed in with like other records from the 70s, but it was pretty cool. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. Up next, we have Frankie Lyman's little brother, that being Louis Lyman, along with his group, the Teen Chords. They had a 2-year contract with Bobby Robinson and Fury Records. After it ended, they moved over to George Goldner's End record label. Maybe it was a deal they worked out, maybe because Frankie's older brother was already recording on the G label. Maybe left, actually, I think by this time of this release, August 57, I think Frankie was like going solo with problems with the group, but maybe he wanted to continue, George Goldner that is, with the Kitty lead sound, so he figured that he would sign Louis Lyman and the Teen Chords. And actually both these masters on their first release, they were recorded at Fury Records, so these two masters came over. But let's give it a listen here. His first of two on the End label, August 57, Louis Lyman and the Teen Chords on the End label, and his rendition of the tune, Too Young.
People and what they have to say, believe me, my friend, they will send you away because they try to tell us we're too young to really be in love. They say that love's a word we've only heard, but can't begin to know the meaning of. And yet we're not too young to
That's Louis Lyman and the Teen Chords. That's Frankie Lyman's little brother there with his group, the Teen Chords, August 1957 on the N record label, the first of two on George Goldner's N Records. It's called Too Young. You're never too young to listen to this music, that is for sure. And I'm glad at least I do have some listeners that are on the younger age. I know that Braden McCallow, he collects 78s. He is, Braden, you're 16, I think. And Evan Blatt, I think he's a year behind him. Evan, maybe it's 17 and 15. I don't know. But anyway, there's Evan in the chat room there. But we have some young collectors out there. Who's going to buy my records when I sell out? A lot of the guys have sold out that are tuned in to the show, unfortunately. But who am I going to sell my records to? You guys gotta listen to all of my 45s. And anyway, let's continue here. We know we count down the music chronologically here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We head to Harlem, New York for this classic song. I call this a classic song because I never thought I would own a copy. I was lucky to find this. Got a little bit of a warp in it, but I got it for practically nothing in the early stages of eBay. I used to find great records on eBay when they first started, but now I'm not paying the taxes on eBay. That's it. If I already deal with a couple of the guys, if I'm going to buy big records, they're not going to be on eBay. You got to sell them privately, or you're going to give me credit. That's how Johnny G works. But anyway, we head to Harlem, New York for this classic tune. This group signed to Bobby Robinson's Robin record label at the time, but again, it would become Red Robin Records. The recording features a 15-year-old Raymond Buddy Wooten on lead. We go back to December 1951. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. Give a listen to the Mellow Moods. The Mellow Moods on the Robin label. It's called Where Are You?
Where are you now that I need you? Now that I want you so badly, I could cry. I could cry. Where are you now that I want you? Now that I need you so badly, I could cry. I had you at my beck and call anytime at all. I guess I took too much for granted and sigh away and cry. Where are you now that I need you? Now that I want you so badly, I could cry. I had you and my beck and call. I call you anytime at all. I guess I took too much for granted to let you sigh and cry. Please tell me, where are you now that I need you? Now that I want you
have to call that the classic sound of the Mellow Moods. Mellow Moods there, December 1951 release, 15-year-old Raymond Wooten on lead there. That's the first of two they recorded, first on Robin. Their second one came out on the Red Robin record label, which I need. It's only on a 78 too. And I don't have that Mellow Mood 78, and it's another killer tune, so I am looking for that one. But this is a great tune, the Mellow Moods there. The full title, Where Are You, parentheses, Now That I Need You. And that one there from December 51. I have their other two singles on the Prestige label. I have those two, but I don't have that 78. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening, spinning my original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. here on Top Shelf Oldies, and we do it live on the YouTube. That is the new phenomenon. Imagine if I was listening to the Time Capsule show back then, and they were on video, and you can see those 78s spinning on the turntable. Let's continue here, and we move into, actually, although unofficially we move into 1953, but on last week's show I played a request for listener Joe Shacatano. He requested the very last single for a group out of Queens, New York. They were called the Rivoliers. They recorded for Saul Rabinowitz's Baton record label, and their sixth release is kind of their last one is kind of a reissue because it came out in May of 1957, and they reissued their debut single, which was their first record, which was called 1,000 Stars. But Joe requested the flip side, an excellent tune, by the way, called Who Is the Girl? But I figured I would play their debut record, their first song, but feature it on the last single they did on Baton. And I think they added instrumentation to this. They added a little bit of instrumentation because I was playing the two of them together. I was showing you guys the original that kicked off the label, Baton number 200. But this is Baton number 241, and this was originally recorded November 53, as was the flip, but not released until 57. But this is a great tune. It features Eugene Pearson on lead, originally from November 53. This is from May 57. The Rivoliers on Baton with their classic. It's called 1,000 Stars.
1,000 stars in the skies, like the stars in your eyes. They say to me that there'll never be no other love like you. For me, for me, stars in the skies make me realize you are the one love that I'll adore. Tell me you love me, tell me you're mine once more. Once more, once more. Each night I count the stars in the skies, hoping that you aren't telling me lies. You're with me tonight, I'm captured by your charms. Oh, pretty baby, let me hold you in my arms. 1,000 stars in the skies make me realize you are the one love that I'll adore. Tell me you love me, tell me you're mine once more. Telling me lies, you're with me tonight, I'm captured by your charms. Oh, Pretty baby, let me hold you in my arms. 1,000 stars in the skies make me realize you are the one, love, that I'll adore. Tell me you love me, tell me you're mine once more.
As Eugene Pearson and the Rivoliers there, this is released in May of 1957. I have like a DJ copy on that, which is kind of odd, but they're cool tune, 1,000 stars. That was actually a big seller for the label. One of the Rivoliers, very popular in the New York area, did well for Baton Records, Saul Rabinowitz and Baton Records, but that is a classic. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We got a lot of requests tonight that we're going to get to, and here's a request for listener Nick Nicola. He's currently in our chat room. Nick Nicola used to be a guest collector quite a bit with Rich Chris on the R&B Review. I used to tune in all the time and write down records. The first time I've heard that Nick and Rich used to play, but we welcome him into our chat room here, and he requested a few tonight, and again for the future weeks, but he requested this one by this group out of Roxbury, Massachusetts, and their debut single, I Don't Have, on the Imperial label. It's on my want list. That's a very rare 45, but their manager, Cecil Steen, he brought them over to Eddie Heller. He owned the Riviera and Rainbow labels, and Nick requested their first, which initially came out on the Riviera label, but I have it on Rainbow. I have their second release on Riviera, but it's a great tune. It features Bob White on lead. We go to October 1954. The Riviera release, I think, came out a little earlier, but they coincided this release with their second release on Riviera, which was odd, Since I Fell for You. But this is by request for Nick, October 54. I have it on Rainbow, the Love Notes with I'm Sorry.
I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry. I met a holiday to whom I gave my heart. I turned around and I finally found that we had strayed apart. Oh, I'm sorry, baby, I was wrong. I loved her, I lost her. She gave me a honest string, and if I ever find her, I'll give her everything. Please come back, darling dear, and make my life worthwhile. I can't eat, can't sleep, can't even think, can't do a doggone thing. Oh, I'm sorry, baby, please come back to me. On the street, and if I ever find her, I'll give her everything. Please come back, darling dear, and make my life worthwhile. I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't even think, can't do a darn thing. Oh, sorry, baby, please come back to me.
That's by request for Nick Nicola there, the Love Notes. Love Notes, I featured it on the second issue, Rainbow Records. Eddie Heller owned Rainbow Records, also owned the Riviera record label. It first came out on Riviera. That's October 1954, the Love Notes with I'm Sorry. And we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We move into 1955 with a request for listener Nat Papagallo, listening down in Naples, Florida. He requested the third release for this group on Dootsy Williams' Dutone record label by Don Julian and the Meadowlarks. It's going out to Nat from October 1955 on Dutone Records. The name of the tune is called This Must Be Paradise.
I see a moon-kissed, starlit night. There's not a stormy cloud in sight. Now you whisper, hold me tight. This must be paradise. I'm in a small, dim-lit cafe where we linger until the break of day. I hear violins fall away. This must be paradise. It seems as strange to me, and yet so good to be in this heavenly place. There's a halo around your lovely face. There's a pathway by a stream where flowers grow and lovers dream. There's a peaceful valley of green. This must be paradise.
It seems so strange to me, and yet so good to be in this heavenly place.
There's a halo around your lovely face. There's a pathway by a stream where flowers grow and lovers dream. There's a peaceful valley of green. This must be paradise.
As by request for Nat Papagallo there, the great Don Julian and the Meadowlarks. You can tell the West Coast sound is very smooth, very different from New York sound for sure. October 1955, that's their third release on Dootsy Williams' Dutone record label. Actually, you know their signature song was Heaven and Paradise, which I have pulled for Cheryl Morgan. She requested that a number of weeks ago. Well, that'll be coming on a future Vinyl Treasure show. Let's continue here in the year 1955. We head to Chicago, Illinois for this next group. I featured their first release a couple of weeks ago. I think it Talk About the Weather, and Indeed I Do. I think that was requested by Daniel Kubacki, but all their releases came out on Les Caldwell and Paul King's Drexel label. They had 5 releases overall on Drexel, and they backed up one other artist on the label. Her name was Dorothy Logan. Let's give a listen, though, to their second release on the Drexel label. It features the great Ray Pettis on lead. Of course, he does wonderful on the ballads that this group does. They really are more of a ballad group, but they did some up-tempos. This is an up-tempo from January 55. Even though they were from Chicago, they are singing about New York City. Give a listen to the Gems on the Drexel label. They're singing about Kitty from New York City.
ba 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 ba. I know a chick as cool as she can be. Well, and I know a chick cool as she can be. She's the kind of a doll that'll make you scream, ooh-wee. Who's that babe you're talking about? Well, who's that babe you're talking about? Well, who's that babe you're talking about? Well, who's that babe you're talking about? That's Kitty from New York City. Do-ba-da, do-ba-da, jump, jump. 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 Do-ba-da, do-ba-da, do-ba-da. She'll drink your juice as long as you can buy. Oh, she'll drink your juice long as you can buy. But when you go, she'll leave you high and dry. She'll take a drink of scotch or rum and sherry flip, then reach and get your glass and take a little sip.
Not on my glass, man.
No matter what you drink, she'll have the very same. And always call the waiter. She knows them all by name. Now when you think she's ready for a little fun and joy, she'll look at you real cool and whisper, silly boy. What? Who's that babe you're talking about? Well, who's that babe you're talking about? Who's that babe you're talking about? Well, who's that babe you're talking about? That's Kitty from New York City. Leave her alone, old man. That's my advice. Leave her alone, old man. That's my advice. But on second thought, that chick sure looks real nice. It's a doggone pity. I love pretty Kitty from New York City.
January 55 release there for the Gems. Ray Pettis on lead, the Gems there on the Drexel label. Kitty from New York City. It's on red vinyl too. And some of those Gems 45s, they did turn up in small quantities. I was lucky to get a couple of nice copies. I think just one of my Gems 45s on Drexel could be upgraded. It's even hard to upgrade nowadays. Not that easy to come across the records anymore. They're either in collections or they're lost, or maybe they'll be found, but very not that easy to find the 45s anymore. Everybody's looking for the same records now, those that are in the collecting hobby. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We move into 1956 now with a request for listener Amnon. He wanted to hear this great group from Connecticut. They're called the Seniors. They had one release on Monty Bruce's Tetra label, Tetra Records, out of Brooklyn, New York. And most of the time when this record would turn up, it would be beat. I think I had two other copies of this record trying to upgrade it, and they were beat, but they were purchased. But I was able to get a better looking copy. This one's not that bad. It could be mint, but it's not quite mint, but it's good enough to play. Plays pretty decent, I say. But no other info on this group. This is by request for Amnon. We go to the Tetra record label, November 1956. Give a listen to the Seniors. The Seniors on Tetra. The full title of the song is Evening Shadows Falling, parentheses, I Think of You.
Evening shadows falling, I think of you, and my poor heart is aching. Now I'm so blue. Oh, tell me, darling, what am I to do? What am I to do? Ooh.
Liking that one there in the YouTube chat room there. By request for Amnon, listener Amnon. The Seniors there, November 1956 on the Tetra label. Evening Shadows Falling. Parentheses, I think of you. What a great tune that is. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, on the last Vinyl Treasure Show, I featured Arthur Lee May and the Crowns. Their release on Art Roop's specialty label featured the tune Gloria. Last week was listener Daryl Letts asked if I could flip the 45 over, give a listen to the flip side before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. Now, there was when they typeset the label on this, the title got all messed up. The title was supposed to be Oh Ruby Lee. Instead, on the label, it's Oh Ruba Lee. So they don't sing that. They sing Ruby Lee. So Specialty Records messed up. And interesting, they usually don't. I could see it on a smaller label, but not really Specialty Records. But anyway, it features the lead of Arthur Lee May. We go to March of 1956. Send this one out to Daryl Letts in our YouTube chat room. Arthur Lee May and the Crowns on Specialty with their tune called Oh Ruba Lee, a.k.a. Oh Ruby Lee.
Ruby Lee, Ruby Lee, Ruby Lee, Ruby Lee.
Well, this is a story about a Ruby Lee. I love her, she loves me. She don't want a Cadillac like a Mary Lou. But goodness gracious, what the girl can do. Ruby Lee, she's so fine. Ruby Lee, she's all mine. Ruby Lee, I love her so. And Ruby Lee, I'll never let you go. Ruby Lee built like a big brick house, a good foundation, wants to jump and shout. The way she walk from side to side, it makes a young man shout and a no man cry. Ruby Lee, she's so fine. Ruby Lee, she's all mine. Ruby Lee, I love her so. And Ruby Lee, I'll never let you go. She's so doggone fine. I have to tell you this just one more time. I tell you this and this no lie. But when she get up in the morning, the sun won't rise. Ruby Lee, she's so fine. Ruby Lee, she's all mine. Ruby Lee, I love her so. And Ruby Lee, I never let you go. Ruby Lee, she's so doggone fine. I have to tell you this just one more time. I tell you this and this no lie. But when she get up in the morning, the sun won't rise. Ruby Lee, she's so fine. Ruby Lee, she's all mine. Ruby Lee, I love her so. And Ruby Lee, I never let you go.
As by request for Daryl Letts there, Arthur Lee May and the Crowns. March 56 release on the specialty record label Oh Ruby Lee. Of course, that's the B-side to Gloria. I had my baseball cards. I can't believe my father threw out my baseball cards of Lee May. He I had baseball cards by Lee May. He threw them in the garbage. What are you going to do? Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue here. We are in the year 1956. We go to Asbury Park, New Jersey here for a request for George Tompkins, a very rare 45 on the Vibro label. I have to apologize in advance. They were talking about trashed records in the YouTube chat room, and this one is not in great shape, although I probably got Greg Zurich's first copy because he probably upgraded it. Of course, I didn't have this record at the time. It was a number of years ago, of course, but lots of scratches on this. And the interesting thing is the price guides that didn't own the record, they didn't know anything about the song. They said, oh, this is from 1960. No way. No way. This record is from 1956, and it's on the Vibro label. This one from these are the Ray Dots. The Ray Dots by request for George Tompkins. The Ray Dots on Vibro from 56. It's called I Need Someone. I tell you, there's scratches on. This gets better as it goes on, but let's give it a spin.
someone to say a guiding prayer for me. I need someone to share my gloom and misery. Someone who could be faithful, understanding and true. Someone who feels lonely the same way that I do. I need someone to help me hold my head up high. I need someone to dry the teardrops from my eyes. Someone who could be gentle, changing gray skies to blue. I need someone. Could that someone be you? Someone who could be gentle, changing gray skies to blue. I need someone. Could that someone be you?
Gets better as the record goes on. I apologize, but still, at least we can at least listen to it. It's a great tune, and that's by request for George Tompkins there, 1956. The Ray Dots. The Ray Dots on the Vibro label, a group out of Asbury Park, New Jersey, a song called I Need Someone. Now, it is a fact that in 1960, the Vibro label was resurrected because of a group called the V8s. I think some of the members of this group did become members of the V8s that have a bunch of, they have some great tunes on that Vibro label. Also, I think My Heart is one, and there's another one that's pretty good on the Vibro. I have those 45s and have featured them here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and up next, a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. He is also in our YouTube chat room, and this gal, she's from Newark, New Jersey. She had 8 releases on Sol Rabinowitz's Baton label, but this is her third, and I like this side too, Daniel, I do. It's her real name was Cynthia Coleman, but she recorded as Ann Cole, and there's an uncredited group backing her up. It doesn't mention the Suburbans like it does on a couple of her releases, and also the Coal Miners, I think, also get mentioned. Maybe it's the Qs, I don't know, but doesn't really mention who they are. Maybe you guys in the chat room know who it might be. We go back to August 1956 by request for Daniel. This is Ann Cole and group on Baton Records. It's called My Tearful Hearts.
My tearful heart cries out, I love you. You left me sad as I can be. My tearful heart cries out, oh baby, please come back to me. My tearful heart cries out, I need you. I'm so alone since you're away. If tears could bring you back, I know that you'd be here to tearful heart cries out, forgive me, and say you love me like before. And then my tearful heart will wear a happy smile once more. Oh, baby, baby, don't you know well that you have hurt me so? Well, since you said bye-bye, I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. My tearful heart cries out, forgive me, and say you love me like before. And then my tearful heart will wear a happy smile once more.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki there, Ann Cole on baton. August 1956, My Tearful Heart. Just a lot of great records on Baton Records, but she also recorded on I have 2 records by her on Timely. She also sang, was it the Coleman Airs, I think? I have a couple of releases on Apollo, I think, gospel, because she sang gospel prior to this. But I have her also, she has some on the subsidiary Baton, Sir Records, and I think I have her on MGM also. Also have her on MGM. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We are in the year 1956. We head to Cincinnati, Ohio for this next request on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label, a request for Nick Nicola. This is like a perfect record for the disc jockeys back in the 1950s. Actually, it was a great theme to have a theme song to the disc jockey, because you know, we're listening to the records, and you want to send it out to your favorite girl, etc. But this is a classic. I consider this a classic that Nick requested here. It's by Otis Williams and the Charms, who had so many great releases on Deluxe Records and also on King Records. It's their 21st release on Deluxe. This is going out to Nick, September 1956. Otis Williams and the Charms. Wait, his Charms? No, this was still his Charms. I think the next record might be The Charms, but this says his Charms. This is on Deluxe, and their tune called I'd Like to Thank You, Mr. DJ.
I'd like to thank you, Mr. DJ, for spinning the record I asked you to play. When my sweetheart heard my plea, she decided to come back to me. We had a quarrel and said so long. We didn't know just who was wrong. So I sent my request to you and found she had sent one too. We may have never spoken of, not knowing what to do. Our love affair may have broken up. If it hadn't been for you, we'd like to thank you, Mr. DJ. There's one more thing we'd both like to say, because you played our favorite tune. You're invited to our wedding in June. We may have never spoken of, played our favorite tune. You're invited to our wedding in June.
As by request for Nick Nicola in our YouTube chat room, those Otis Williams and his charms. Charlene, you got to change that. Change that to his charms. Then it was Otis Williams' charms, and it was the charms because he left the group and then came back. It was a lot of stuff going on with Otis Williams and the charms. But that is a great record. September 1956 on Sid Nathan's Deluxe Records. That's the 21st release. I think they got over 50, if I'm not mistaken, between Deluxe and King. Anyway, Johnny G is your DJ tonight, so thank you for tuning in to the Vinyl Treasure Show as we continue here. And here's a request for listener Joe Shacatano in our YouTube chat room, and it's on a label not really known for rhythm and blues vocal groups, that's for sure. Starday Records, mostly known for country or rockabilly, but this group is from southern Missouri. Did I write that right, Charlene? I'm not sure. Southern Missouri, I think. First known as the Foggy River Boys, but they changed their name to the Marksmen. And the lead singer on this, his name is Charlie Hodge. So by request for Joe Shacatano, we go to September of 1957 now. The Marksmen on the Starday label. It's called Don't Gamble with Love.
Can I believe what you tell me? Have you said it all before? Are you truly my one and only? To be yours forevermore. Can it be? If I find you're just pretending, playing games with you, please don't say it if you don't mean it. Don't gamble with my heart. Do, 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 do. If I find you're just pretending, playing games with you, please don't say it if you don't mean it. Don't gamble with my heart.
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, that's on the Starday label where you got all this rockabilly and country stuff on Starday that I used to buy for $1. Maybe I could make good money if I sell that country and rockabilly stuff. If I retire, I'm looking at that, but don't tell my company that. I don't want them to find out yet. I hope nobody's listening. They may be. Hint, hint. And that is for Joe Shacatano there, the Marksmen. The Marksmen, as I lost my place. There, September 1957, Charlie Hodge on lead. Don't Gamble with Love is the name of that one. And supposedly that's on Mercury also. Mercury Stardate put that out 71139, which I probably have. I ran that Mercury label with all the pop and all the other stuff on there. But there is some cool stuff on Mercury too. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue. Here we are in 1957. And last week I played a request for George Tompkins by the Keytones, a group from, out of Newark, New Jersey. It's their only release. It came out on High Weiss's Old Town record label, Seven Wonders of the World, or Wonder of the World, whichever one you have. But I played last week Seven Wonders of the World, and it was my first copy. I have a nice copy of this floating around somewhere in the No Humidity basement, and the 78, which plays fantastic, by the way. But George also liked the flip side. I think it was Daryl also that asked me to flip the record over. So for George and for Daryl, we go back to August 1957, the Keytones on the Old Town record label. It's the B-side to Seven Wonders of the World. It's called A Fool in Love.
There is always a fool in love. What's the matter, baby? What's the matter, dog? Have you found another? What you thinking of? Have you ever seen a fool? A fool in love. Don't you start crying. Don't shed a tear. You don't have to worry. I will leave you, dear. Have you ever seen a fool? A fool in love. Well, baby, someday I'll change my ways, and you'll have me once again. Because now, baby, I'm praying now that you come back and have me back again. Don't you start crying. Don't shed a tear. You don't have to worry. I will leave you, dear. Have you ever seen a fool? A fool in love.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Keytones there. From August 1957, going out to George and Daryl. A Fool in Love is the name of that one. High Weiss's Old Town record label. That is another great label to collect. If you're going to collect the label, Josie Records, Old Town Records, Whirling Disc. You don't have many to collect on there if you can get them all. And who is who the Love Notes are on, then and Jimmy Jones and the Pretenders. That Red Holiday Records is another great label to collect. There's a lot of great R&B record labels to collect. That's what I started out doing. Federal Records, especially the early stuff, if you can get it all. There's not only group stuff there. We can go on all night long, but enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. We go to Philadelphia, PA for this next group. I bought this record not for this side, but I need a fast record at this point. But actually, it's an answer song. Some of you may be familiar with the Turbans that recorded for Herald. They did a tune called Sister Suki in 1955. But that song and this song were written by Henry Gillespie. Now, Gillespie, I guess that's how you pronounce it. But the group is called the Limelighters, not the group on Josie, though. I think this is a different group, if I'm not mistaken. George, am I correct? Cabin Hideaway group is not the same as this group. I don't know. But anyway, I bought this record for the other side, but this is a cool up-tempo from 1957. The Limelighters on the Gilco label. It's called Sister Suki Comes Home.
I heard a knock upon my door. I knew I heard that knock before. I went to the window into my surprise, and there was Sister Suki standing winking her eye. And that girl, she's back from Egypt. She said, oh man, don't stand there, bread. Open up the door before I kick it in. You may have think I lost my mind, but I want your loving one more time. And that girl, she's back from Egypt. Suki, have you heard the news? Everybody's talking about the two-left shoes. She said, I lost my shoes on the other sand, running away from another man. And that girl, she's back from Egypt. Tell me what you did in Egypt, man. Did you find yourself a lover, man? She said, I met Jesus and came to the roof, and they were all pleased with the things I do. And that girl, she's back from Egypt.
Answer tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's an answer to the Turban Sister Suki. This one called Sister Suki Comes Home. That one there, 1957. The group is called the Limelighters. They're out of Philadelphia, PA, on the Gilco record label. That's actually a pretty hard record to find, believe it or not. Not an easy record to find. Yes, George, we will flip over that 45 for sure next week. And we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And George, this is a request for you as we head out to California. And this appears to be the group's only release on Jake Porter's Combo Records out of Hollywood, California. The writer on this is Joe Miller. Was he a group member, Charlene? No, Joe Miller and the label owner Jake Porter. And it features Tommy Williams on lead. I didn't check my California book on this one, but this is by request for George Tompkins, a group called the Cocos. The Cocos from September 57 on Combo Records. It's called The First Day of School.
The first day of school, the bells were all ringing. I saw you there, my heart started singing. I fell in love with you, the first day of school. I walked in the room and looked in my eyes. Oh, how I felt. Oh, what a surprise. I fell in love with you, yes, you, the first day of school.
First day of school.
The breaks were so short between each class. We didn't have time to we would meet.
Do 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 do.
Met at the door. My head started reeling. At last I knew our love left it feeling. I fell in love with you, yes, you. The first day of school.
First day of school.
The breaks were so sharp between each class. We didn't have time to breathe. I waited outside the classroom door in hope that we would meet.
Do 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 do.
Met at the door. My head started reeling. At last I knew our love left a feeling. I fell in love with you, yes, you. The first day of school.
First day of school.
September 1957 release there for a group called the Cocos. The Cocos recorded on Jake Porter's Combo Records out of Hollywood, California by request for George Tompkins. Tommy Williams, the lead singer there. The First Day of School is the name of the tune. The first day of school this year for kids is different if you're into Zoom. Zoom with the pandemic. For everybody, it's been kind of crazy. Anyway, we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Last week, I featured a group called the Kings and Queens on Danny Robinson's Everlast record label, and I said they were this Kings and Queens included group members from the Orioles that recorded on the VJ label and the Deltones that recorded on the Baton label. And the side I played last week was called Voices of Love, and I think John Clemente told me it didn't sound like Della Simpson was the lead singer, and he was going to ask Marv Goldberg about that because he has her on lead on the flip side also. But this one, we're going to give it a spin because it was Daryl Letts that asked that I flip this record over here. So let's flip over the Kings and Queens on the Everlast label. This came out in June of 1957, Voices of Love. I played this last week. This week, the name of the tune is called I'm So Lonely, going out to Daryl.
My
Jazz by Request for Darrell Letts there. Those are the Kings and Queens, June 1957 release on the Everlast record label, Danny Robinson's Everlast Records. I'm So Lonely. Maybe I got to play the flip side again to see if it's the same voice, because maybe that sounds more like Della Simpson on lead. She was a lead singer of the Deltones, recorded for the Rainbow record label. Actually, she was also a member of the Enchanters. They got two great records on the Jubilee record label. Housewife Blues is a harder record to find by the group. I have them both. Today Is Your Birthday is another great record they do. Johnny G babbling on here. We continue. Here we are in 1957, and last week I played a request for Nick Nicola, featured the Isley Brothers, another great group out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and featured the A side of that 45. Nick requested the side one. It was called The Cow Jumped Over the Moon, came out on the Teenage record label, which was out of New York City. And I think, according to Charlene's notes, she tells me that George, Darrell, and Katie, you requested the flip side of this also. This one from February 1957. These are the Isley Brothers. This is the B-side to their debut single on the Teenage record label. It features Ronald Isley on lead. It's called Angels Cry.
Angels, they cry the day that you left me, my love. Their teardrops fell down from above because we had to part. Stars in the sky hid from sight, and I was alone in the night because you broke my heart. Oh, how I yearn now that you are far away. Please return and turn this night into day. How deep inside your voice tells me that you still care. And darling, the dreams we can share the way that we did then. Although the angels cry, someday they'll smile again. Someday they'll
Those are great Isley Brothers there. Everybody likes that tune there by the Isley. A great two-sided 45, you have to say. February 1957 on the Teenage record label, Angels Cried, Ronald Isley on lead. Imagine if you listen to that record and you listen to their funk records that they were doing 40 years later. It's amazing. I think when I was working at Sony Music, my boss told me that they were in the building, and I was like, geez, I want to just go ask them some questions about Teenage records and how that all happened. That would have been really interesting. It really would be. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening, spinning original vinyl 45. Charlene, I'm not sure, is this the A side of this write-up I don't know if this is correct, but we're going to read it here as it has, I didn't really get a chance. The show is taking me longer to do because it's now 3 hours. I'm here for 3 hours from 10 to 1, and I so look forward to doing the show, and I get the requests now, and it sometimes amazes me. I'm like, do I have that record? Because I stopped keeping track probably about 8 years ago of records, because when I used to purchase records every week, I used to check them off in my Ken Klee book, and I used to check them off in my Kreider book. I have this, I need an upgrade of this, whatever. I stopped doing that, and I used to see Spence just about every week for a number of years, and may he rest in peace. I miss Spence a lot since he passed away, because I haven't been buying any records at all. Very rarely have I been buying a 45. So sometimes somebody will call me up because they know that I'm looking for certain pieces, but they'll call me up, and not nearly in the last year have I been spending like I used to. So I'm sometimes surprised, like, do I have that record? I can see it. Like so many have, I thought I had the Superiors on Real Fine, but I'm getting confused because the Ripples on Bond or something else that looks like that, and maybe I had a chance to buy it. But anyway, when you're a collector like Johnny G, and I'm sure a lot of you are, sometimes it gets crazy. You don't remember if you had it or not. But I need to have more time to organize my collection, get rid of my doubles and triples, do trades and upgrade some of the records. That's what I really want to do, and I'm chomping at the bits. So forgive me if I'm not so much prepared for the show, but I try to be, and I drive Charlene crazy. But anyway, next we go to George Braxton's Brax label, added up in Detroit, Michigan, and it's the debut single for this group called the 5 Dapps. Side 1, and I don't know if this is side 1 though, Charlene. Side 1 features James Bennett on lead, along with the Joe Hunter Band. And the name of this song is called Doo-Wop-A-Doo, and it's kind of interesting how they write this. And this wouldn't be the first time that doo-wop was mentioned in a song, would it? Because this is 1958. Let's give it a spin. 1958, the 5 Dapps on the Brax label, B-R-A-X, and it's spelled do, D-O space W-H-O-P-A, do. It's called Doo-Wop-A-Doo, 1958.
I love you. Oh, well, look, means I love you. Oh, little girl, say it too. Let me hear you holler, do, wop, do all the day. Let me hear you holler, do, wop, do all the day. Let me hear you holler, do, wop, do. Wop-a-doo, wop-a-wop-a-doo. I love you. Oh, well, do means I love you. Oh, little girl, say it too. Let me hear you holler, do, wop-a-do all the day. Oh, let me hear you holler, do all the day. Let me hear you holler, do.
You go there. It's on the Brax label. It's out of Detroit, Michigan. The 5 Dapps, 1958. Do Wop Do is the name of the tune. And this label owner, George Braxton, he also owned the Fox label and some rare group records on the Fox label. And I think the biggest hit on Fox, wasn't it that song Wicked Ruby by Danny Zella and the Zellrocks on Styrene? But I have a couple other records on this label that aren't that easy to find. This one's in nice shape. I bought it from somebody up in Detroit that had a lot of those Fox records also. And sometimes you find kind of whipped, but I got some nice copies of that. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we continue. Here we are in the year 1958 now. And up next, a request for Joe Shacatano. Many of you know Billy Storm. Billy Storm, he was the lead singer of a group called The Valiants, and he was also a member of a group called The Squires. They had releases on the Dice label, and I think he recorded as Billy Fortune and the Squires on Dice Records. I think it came out as another name, as I can't remember it. But anyway, this group, the Squires, they backed him up on this release on the Barbary Coast label, and it's a request for Joe Shacatano. This one from July of '58, Billy Storm and the uncredited Squires backing him up on this. It's on the Barbary Coast label. It's called Angel of Love.
Oh, angel of mine, you're like an angel to me. You're so divine, just like an angel should be. I know that you're in my arms, but still can't believe it's true. I will keep in my heart, way down deep in my heart, all these moments spent with you. So blame it on love for every kiss that I steal. Angel of mine, I wonder if you are real. You're just like a dream, reflecting the glow of every shining star. But above all, I love all the things that you really are. Angel of
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, Billy Storm. Billy Storm and the uncredited group backing him up. They're in the background there very lightly, but they are on the flip side more, as Daryl requested it. Normally, the up-tempo side of this gets played, The Way to Your Heart. But this side features the really wonderful voice of Billy Storm there. July 1958, it's on the Barbary Coast label. Angel of Love is the name of the tune. And believe it or not, after this release, Barbary Coast, he was signed to this label. They decided to sell his contract to Columbia Records for $1,700. And then he had a number of releases on Columbia, more in the pop range. And then I think he ended up on Atlantic Records with groups backing him up again on the Atlantic label. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening, spinning all the tunes you crave on original vinyl here. We are in the year 1958, and up next, the request for my number one California listener, that being Matey Campboy. And thank you so much, Matey, for your emails and requests. Anybody want to make requests here to Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If I have the 45, I will play it. Some of them are difficult. I'm accumulating the ones I have on 78. Because a couple people, some of them over in the UK, they want me to do an all 78 show, but that'll be a lot of more of the earlier stuff that I have that only came out on 78. But anyway, we'll do that, I think, when I get a lot of time, which hopefully will be soon. But anyway, this is by request for Matey Campboy. This group is out of Newport News, Virginia. That's the same place that the Five Keys were out of, but their debut 45 was in 1956 on the Groove label. They did a tune called Chains Around My Heart, but they have a number of excellent releases on Groove, and they also did this classic release on the Unart record label, a subsidiary of United Artists. It features Raphael Ingram on lead. So by request for Matey Campboy, we go to December of 1958. These are the Avalons. The Avalons on Unart. It's called Heart's Desire.
You're my heart's desire. You're my heart's desire. You are my heart's desire. You set my soul on fire. Your lips are close to mine, you'll find. You're my heart's desire. No other love could be as sweet as yours to me. Oh, darling, can't you plainly see? You're my heart's desire. No other dream could replace that lonely, that empty space, and fill my heart with the love. For it's you I'm dreaming of. There's one thing I know, that wherever you may go, I'll forever keep on loving you so. You're my heart's desire. You are my heart's desire.
As by request for my number one California listener, Matey Campboy, those are the great Avalons. The Avalons with Raphael Ingram on lead, December 58 release. Came out on the United Artists subsidiary Unart Records. It's called Heart's Desire. Actually, this record was initially recorded in January of 1958, and they waited almost a whole year to release this. Why did they do that? Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. Those of you new to the YouTube visual broadcast, please subscribe to my channel. Also click the like button and click the bell to get notifications when I go live. Sometimes I just play records out of my box and you'll get a notification. Fred, I forgot to ask you if you went to that record show in Wayne, New Jersey today. And if you saw anything or you purchased anything, that would be interesting. You can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show for a request, this time for Daniel Kubacki. This group out of Philadelphia, PA, never really had a national hit, unfortunately, but they had lots of 45s, actually a total of 8 singles. Initially, they signed with Red Top Records when they had their first single in late 1958. I think this was it, believe it or not, because this song first came out on Red Top Records. It was then picked up by Cameo Records, but I'm featuring the rare Cameo 45. I didn't buy it for this side. I bought it for the flip side, so I'll play the flip side of this next week. I know you don't even have to ask me about that, but Daniel requested the is this the A side? I can't even tell. But Daniel requested their first record, which came out on Red Top, and I mentioned I'm playing it on the Cameo record label. This group is called The Gainers. The Gainers from December 1958, and it features the lead singer Garnet Mims. Garnet Mims was the lead singer of The Gainers. So going out to Daryl, December 58 is this release on Cameo. The Gainers with Follow Me.
Some little birds came out to sing, all the mothers singing songs of the spring they got together. Then they danced and they sang and they looked at one another, rejoicing to the mother bird that hatched a baby brother. What a lot of, what a lot of, clap your wings together and follow me. Me and my lover got together. We was walking in the evening breeze. The birds, they got together and they were flying through the trees. The song the bird was singing brought back memories. Clap your wings together and follow me. Twa-la-la-la. By the willow tree, where the bees were making honey and they were swarming through the trees. Birds, they got together and again they sang for me. Clap your wings together and follow me. Twa-da-la-la.
That's by request for Daniel Kubacki there. Those are the Gainers, Garnet Mims and the Gainers, December 1958, originally recorded for Red Top Records, but Red Top sold 4 masters to Cameo Records, and this tune, Follow Me, was, I think it was, let me see if it was the A-side here. No, that was the B-side of the record. And I think Follow Me on the Red Top was the B-side. The A-side is a killer ballad, You Must Be an Angel. That we will listen to next Saturday evening. That is a great record. and a rare 45 because it only comes out on the Cameo label. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we have another request. This time it is for Nick Nicola. Came out on Lou Bedell's Dorae record label. You would think this group was from the West Coast, but that is not correct. Lou purchased this master from New York City publisher Joe Happy Go Day, and he called them the... Is that what I wrote, Charlene? Joe Happy Go Day, and called them the Baritones, but in reality they are the Qs. These are the Qs. These really aren't the Baritones, but Lou Bedell called them the Baritones. This is the same group that did session work for Charlie White, Carmen Taylor, Laverne Baker, Ruth Brown, Ivory Joe Hunter, and others. This, by request, for Nick Nicola. We go to May of 1958, the Baritones, a.k.a. the Qs, on Dorae, and what did you say there? Eddie Barnes, the bass? Is that what you told me, Charlene? Is he the lead? Anyway, these are the Baritones on Dorae with After School Rock going out to Nick.
Dooby-doo-doo, wop-wop. Do be doo be doo doo wop wop 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 do be doo be doo doo wop wop. Then they start doing the after school rock. Come from school and Johnny puts on the floor. Dance down to that candy store. Ask the man for a soda pop. Then they start doing the after school rock. Rock and roll in the cool. Doing the after school rock. No, they never get tired of the latest dance they do. No, they never get tired. That's why I'm telling you. Now they talk to the dirty pussy and dance down to that candy store. Ask the man for a soda pop, and they start doing the after school rock. No, they never get tired of the latest dance they do. No, they never get tired. That's why I'm telling you. Now they come to the dirty pussy and dance down to that candy store. Ask the man for a soda, and they start doing the after school rock. Then they start doing the after school rock. Then they start doing the after school rock. Then they start doing the after school rock. Be doo be doo doo, wop wah doo. Be doo be doo doo, wop wah doo. Be doo be doo doo, wop wah doo. Be doo be doo doo, wop wah.
As by request for Nick Nicola there, those are the Baritones, a.k.a. the Qs, and Eddie Barnes bass. Charlene, the only thing missing from that, because I didn't get to rewrite all the records that Charlene, she gave me the information, and I usually rewrite it for my script, and she didn't put down the lead there. She just said the bass, but Johnny G losing his mind. Anyways, May 58, the Baritones going out to Nick Nicola on Lou Bedell's Dorae record label. That's 501, by the way. That is the second record on Dorae. I think there is a 500, if I'm not mistaken. After School Rock is the name of that one. And we go to Newport News, Virginia here. We just heard from the Avalons from Newport News, Virginia, but I mentioned that the Five Keys were from Newport News, Virginia, and Joe Shacatano requested the Five Keys on the Capitol label here. This is a great side featuring Rudy West on lead. This tune co-written by Clyde Otis and Rudy West. It features the Dave Cavanaugh music. This charted number 30 on WFBR in Baltimore, Maryland. We go back to November 1958 for the Five Keys, a request for Joe Shacatano on Capitol. It's called One Great Love.
One great love, all life through. One great love,
to you, vowing every day I live, darling, I will live to give you one great love, burning bright like a beacon in the night, everlasting, ever true, my great love for you. Once I longed for fame and gold, those were all I cared to hold, till I found that love's great treasure truly is beyond measure. In the sun, in the rain, our great love will still remain. Then one day they may write up to hearts with one great love, to hearts with one great love.
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, the Great Five Keys, Rudy West and the Five Keys, November 1958. A beautiful song there called One Great Love on the Capitol record label. Johnny G here, spinning your requests as we do every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. And thank you for tuning in. And we continue with the year 1958 as we go to this next group out of Baltimore, Maryland. It's a request for George Tompkins. And George requested this 45 on Zell Sanders' J&S record label out of the Bronx, New York. And I went for Don Folletti. He sells 45s on eBay, and I have most of the group stuff that he lists, but once in a while he lists something that either I need an upgrade on or and I was going for the first press of this, because I have the second press of this 45. I purchased it from Lou Haggis when I first started collecting, probably out of Goldmine magazine. And when you look at the price guides, you didn't know what was a first press or what was a second press. But supposedly the first press of this has an address, I think like Washington Avenue or something. So once in a while, I don't look all the time, but I do look at a few sellers, and he had this. And I forget what it went for, but it went for a lot of money, a lot of records. I am surprised what they have gone for. He had an Isley on Buzz Records. Now, I need an upgrade of that record, but that record went for over like $2,600. I was like, that's crazy for that record. I says I had a VG copy that I purchased from Chris Ciccone a long time ago, and unfortunately Chris has since passed away, unfortunately. But I just wanted to have the first press of this, but I never got it. But I have the record. I always thought this was the first press, but it's not. But it's a request for George Tompkins, this group out of Baltimore, Maryland. This is on Zell Sanders' J&S record label out of the Bronx, New York. This is their second of two, and it features, I think George Jackson is the lead singer on this, from May 1958. This is going out to George Tompkins. These are the Plants. The Plants on J&S. It's called From Me.
I want to be sure, my dear, don't want you to have no fear, 'cause I love you so, won't never let you go. From me, I want your every care. going straight. Don't you ever go away from me. It may take time to make up my mind, but I'm sure you're the girl for me. 'Cause we made a vow to never part. So darling, stay with me. I promise not to make you cry. Now until the day I die. 'Cause I love you so, won't ever let you go. So please, don't go.
As by request for George Tompkins there, great tune by The Plants. George Jackson on lead, May 1958's on Zell Sanders' J&S record label. From Me is the name of the tune as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And here is another rare 45. This group is from Syracuse, New York. This is a request for Rick in Philly. This one came out on the Vesta label. The group is called the El Darrows. It features Jimmy Singleton on lead. He's the brother of Bebo Singleton. Bebo Singleton was the lead of the Rhythm Cadets, who also recorded on the Vesta label. Or is it the same? Johnny G going out of his mind. Is Jimmy Singleton? Yes, he's the brother of Bebo Singleton. Right, George? Right? Anyway, August 1958, this is going out to Rick and Philly, the El Darrows on Vesta. It's called Please Surrender, going out to Rick.
Do 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 up, they 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 do. Please surrender. Don't break my lonely heart. You know I love you. Tell me we'll never part. You know I need you. Please surrender to me. They do what they do, what they do. You know I love you, and you know that I care, dear. You know I need you, your love I'll never share, dear. Please surrender, please surrender, surrender, surrender. You know how much I love you, and you know how much I care. You know how much I need you. Your love I will never share. Please surrender. You'll never break my heart, dear. You know I love you, and you know that I care, dear. You know I need you. Please surrender to me. Do what they do, what they do, what they do.
That's a rare 45 out of Syracuse, New York. A group called the El Darrows has going out to Rick in Philly. August 58 release, Please Surrender is the name of the tune. It came out on the Vesta label. That's a cool tune. It is Johnny G on a Saturday evening as we continue here. And last week, was this a request? Yes, Daniel Kubacki, he requested the Rocketeers. The Rocketeers, their early 1958 release on the MJC record label, My Reckless Heart. And it was Reed that wanted Reed and Darrell. Was it Reed and Darrell or just Reed? I don't know, you guys. Send in the flips. It says you're driving Charlene crazy. But anyway, I think it was Reed that requested the flip side of the 45. It features Willie Davis on lead. This one from early 58. You're going to flip over My Reckless Heart by the Rocketeers on MJC. You get a cool up-tempo tune. It's called The Party Out Down at Bessie's House.
I wanna tell you about a party that I went to. Just common people like me and you. The band was playing a rock and roll song. All of a sudden, something went wrong. They started running. Yeah, they kept running. I heard somebody shout. They turned the party up down at Blessed House. The lights went out. Somebody shot a gun. About that time I started to run. The bullet passed me and I heaved aside. I passed that bullet and way by it kept running. Yeah, we kept running. I heard somebody shout. They turned the party out down at Bessie's house. I ran out of my shoes and I lost my hat. I dropped my money and I didn't look back. I just got the street and I started to dig. When I ran into a lady and knocked off a wig and kept running. Yeah, we kept running. I heard somebody shout. They turned the party out down at Bessie's house. I ran upon a car doing 95. Me and this car was running side by side. The driver yelled, "What's the hurry all about?" I said, "Man, they had a riot back at Bessie's house," and kept running. Yeah, we kept running. I heard somebody shout. They turned the party out down at Bessie's house.
That's going out to Reed. Requested that. I haven't seen Reed tonight. Reed or Warren haven't been in the chat room tonight. They're usually in chat. And also, Rick, they're going to listen on the archive there where they can't be here live. That's a good thing about having the archive. And the show is long, so a lot of people can't stick around for the whole show. And actually, unless you're laying on your couch watching your TV, that I think Joe Shacatano does, that'd be nice to sit on your couch and watch the show on your iTV. That would be pretty cool. And let's continue here. Let me just tell you what you just heard there. Those are the Rocketeers. The Rocketeers, that's the B-side to My Reckless Heart, a song called They Turned the Party Out Down at Bessie's House, July 1958 on the MJC record label. Now, the Class Notes also record that on the Hamilton label. The Hamilton label. I think they called it Bessie's Home. I think is the name of that one. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue here. We are in the year 1958, and this is another request from my listener, Matey Campboy out in California. You know this duo from the Bronx, New York, Robert Carr and Johnny Mitchell. They had 16 releases on High Weisses, Old Town record label between 1958 and 1962. You know their biggest hit, which is a classic. It's called We Belong Together, which I dare not play, unfortunately, because I got a copyright strike the last time I played that record, believe it or not. But here is, Matey requested their fifth. No, I'm sorry. We Belong Together was their fifth. Matey requested their seventh, a song that they both wrote. So this is going out to Matey Campboy, August 58, Robert and Johnny on the Old Town record label. It's called Eternity with You.
Eternity, darling, I'll spend that with you. Eternity, darling, I will. Forever and a day. Eternity, darling, I will. I'll spend eternity with you. Loving you, darling, I do. Yes, you belong to me. Loving you, darling, I do. Yes, I belong to you. Eternity, darling, I will. I'll spend eternity with you. Oh, my life. Darling, I am. Oh, my life. I'm yours. I'm giving up for you. All of my soul. All of my soul. Darling, darling, I am yours. Eternity, darling, I'll spend that with you. Eternity, darling, I will. Forever and a day. Eternity, darling, I will. I'll spend eternity with you. Darling, I will. I'll spend eternity with you. Darling, I will. I'll spend eternity with you. Darling, I will.
As by request from my number one California listener, Matey Campboy. I know she loves Robert and Johnny. Robert and Johnny, August 1958. High Weiss's Old Town record label for that one. Eternity with You is the name of the tune. As we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show, we go back out to California to Bob Keene's Keene record label for the Turks here. This is by request for Daniel Kubacki. We go April 1958, Keene Records. This tune written by the lead singer. His name is Gaynell Hodge. This along with Bumps Blackwell and his orchestra. April 58, going out to Daniel, the Turks on Keene. It's called Father Time.
Oh, Father Time, you keep ticking away. Oh, Father Time, minutes into hours, and hours into days. You just keep ticking. Always. Oh, Father
Father time, Father time, Father time, Father time. Is there love, Father time, love for me, Father time, Father time. If I knew, what a joy it would be, Father time, Father time. Help me to understand the true meaning of life. For I know it's so grand. You just keep away, away, ah, tick, 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 ticking away.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki, the late Gaynell Hodge on lead there with the Turks. April 1958, Bob Keene's Keene record label out of California. Father Time is the name of the tune. Father Time, great tune. We continue more for 1958. This is a request for Nat Papagallo. This group is called Kenny and the Socialites. Came out on a label called Crosstown Records. It's out of New York City. This is their only release. This one from 1958 going out to Nat. It's called I'll Have to Decide.
I had a and Audrey was her name, but now things are the same, and I'll have to decide which one will be my bride. I really love her, the best girl a guy ever had, but now I feel pretty bad, and I'll have to decide. She couldn't go out on Saturday night, so I went to the party alone. I tried not to look at any of the girls, but I couldn't keep my eyes off of Joan. I'm sorry, but the tears won't help me now. I must be strong somehow, and I'll have to decide.
Millions of hearts have been broken this way because of jealousy. It can happen to anyone, beggar or king. I pray it won't happen to me.
That's going out to Nat Papagallo there. Nat, where you listening to these records? Do you have this? You have an original of this in your jukebox, Nat? That's what I'm asking you. Kenny and the Socialites there, 1958 on the Crosstown record label. I'll have to decide. It's getting difficult for Johnny G to decide. If you don't hear your request on today's show, you will hear it on future shows. I promise you, because I've been inundated by a lot of requests. So we're going to be featuring them, in the upcoming weeks. So I'm going to try to mix it up. I was rushed a little bit today, unfortunately, because I just got too busy this week with work that I'm going to be working through. I kind of miscalculated my retirement. It's a whole year sooner than I expected, so I'm almost there. I am almost there. But that request for Nat Papagallo, Kenny and the Socialites, I normally don't have two requests in a row, but I was actually a little surprised that Nat requested this next record on the Bellatonic label, and I wasn't sure that I had it because, again, like I told you, I didn't have it checked off in my book. It wasn't in my Kreider book. I said, do I even have this record? So I was looking for, what is this? This was in the L. Who else? Somebody requested a group under the L. It wasn't the Limelighters. It was something else. So I'm looking through. Oh, it was Matey. I was looking for a Little Joe and the Latinaires. I'll be playing that later. So I'm thumbing through the boxes because worst case scenario, I had thousands of 45s in the basement and they were all by label. So I mean, if somebody requested something on Columbia, like somebody requested a Gene Mumford record, and I had it. It was a great record. I was never going to find it in my, 500 boxes of Columbia records. So I decided to put them in put the records in boxes by alphabet. So I'm looking for Little Joe and the Latinaires, and I find it. And I find this record, no less 2 copies of this record. And I was actually surprised, Nat, that you requested this. But I like this song, and I wouldn't have had 2 copies of it. It wasn't very expensive. But it's from February 59. And the lead singer of this group, he was previously a member of Charlie Fuqua's Ink Spots between 1953 and 1955. And his name is Antoine Lucky Leon. He is the lead singer, and he's backed up. Charlene, you didn't type the group name, unfortunately. He's backed up by a group called the Keynotes, and this is on the Bellatonic record label. This is by request for Nat, February 59. Antoine Lucky Leon and the Keynotes on the Bellatonic label. It's called Only in a Dream.
Someone as lovely as you,
as lovely as you.
Only in a dream is there someone as perfect as you,
as perfect as you.
I look at you and I wonder how you ever happened my way. I look at you and the sunshine comes back on the stormiest day. Only in a dream is there someone with so many charms,
with so many charms.
Crazy as it seems, I am holding you here in my arms. Darling, it's good to know you, but you can't be the things you seem. For only in a dream is there someone like you? someone like you.
As by request for Nat Papagallo. Now, where are you hearing that record? How would you even know that record? I'm really surprised, but pleasantly surprised, I'd have to say. Anyway, that's Antoine Lucky Leon and the Keynotes, not Noters, and the Keynotes. It's on the Bellatonic label, February 1959. Kind of a little bit of an early sound, but actually pretty nice harmonies there. Nice and smooth harmonies. It's called Only in a Dream. That's going out to Nat. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the Cool 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. here on Top Shelf Oldies, if I don't lose my breath. But on the last show, I played a request. Matey Campboy requested a rare girl group out of Philadelphia on the Boss label. They were called the Deb Teens. This was from 1959. I played the side called Darling. We're going to flip the 45 over, give a listen to the B-side before this one goes back down in the No Humidity basement. It's not an easy record to find. It's difficult, at least when I bought it from Greg Surik so many years ago. It's from 1959. We flip over Darling by the Deb Teens. It's on the Boss label. You get this tune. It's called Drip, Drip, Drop.
It's raining, raining from the sky above. Just because I fell in love, yes, I fell in love with you. Well, I'm sorry that it's raining from the sky. Now there's teardrops in my eyes, just because I fell in love with you. It's raining, raining. Drops of misery, pitter, patter, patter, patter goes my love. Trickle, trickle, goes the raindrops laughing, mocking from above. I'm sorry that it's raining from the sky. Now there's teardrops in my eyes, just because I fell in love with you. From above, I'm sorry that it's raining from the sky. Now there's teardrops in my eyes, just because I fell in love with you.
It's a rare girl group sound there, I gotta tell you, by a group called the Deb Teens. The Deb Teens are out of Philadelphia. It's on the Boss label. Same label that you might have Mopity Mope on, but they're called the Deb Teens. Drip Drop is the name of that side. The A side is called Darling, which is an excellent ballad. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue here with the requests as this group, they are from Steubenville, Ohio. They previously recorded as the Buckeyes, but then they changed their name to the Stereos, and this is a request for Lloyd Piper. Lloyd, thank you so much for your email and your request. Of course, the Buckeyes, they recorded a cool tune called Dottie Baby, but then they changed their name to the Stereos, and this is a song written by Otis Blackwell. This charted number 17 on WTIX in New Orleans, Louisiana. It features Bruce Robinson on lead. It's going out to Lloyd Piper, July 59, the Stereos on Gibraltar. It's called A Love for Only You.
Please take this heart of mine. Don't turn your back on me. Please hear this humble plea. Happiness can only come through our love for only you. I spend the whole night through dreaming of only you, praying that you will see just what you're doing to me. Too long my lips were sealed. Now, dear, I must reveal I give my whole life to a love for only you, a love for only you.
That's a great tune there. That one going out to Lloyd Piper by request. The Stereos there, Bruce Robinson on lead, July 59. It's on the Gibraltar label, A Love for Only You. Gibraltar Records is a label out of East Orange, New Jersey. And again, the Stereos would have actually their biggest hit on the Cub label, I Really Love You, from 1961, a 45 by amp purchased in 1961. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We are in the year 1959. Two more records to go in 1959. You all know this next singer from Barnwell, South Carolina. This is a request for listener Amnon. Amnon, thank you for your email and your requests and your information. But this singer had 50 top 10 R&B hits during his career, and he signed with Sid Nathan's Federal label back in 1956. Had about 19 releases on Federal between 1956 and 1960 before they switched him over to, I guess King was the parent label, and then he started recording for King Records. But Amnon requested his 13th release on the Federal record label. This charted number 27 on KWBR in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So by request for Amnon, we go back to April 1959 for James Brown with the Famous Flames. This is on Federal Records. It's called It Hurts to Tell You.
I love you so much. It hurts to tell you. I love you so much. It hurts to tell you. I want you to know. Oh, I need you so bad, and it's driving me so mad. I need you so bad, and it's driving me so mad. I want you to know. Oh, you know. taken my place. I love you so much. It hurts to tell you. I love you so much. It hurts to tell you. I want you to love. Oh, 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 want you to love.
As by request for Amnon. He's got a whole bunch of doo-ops on YouTube. You can check it out, but he is tuned into the Vinyl Treasure Show, and he watches it on the archive there. He requested James Brown and the Famous Flames, April 1959, on the Federal Record banner. It's called It Hurts to Tell You. Unfortunate that we lost James Brown December 25th of 2006. He was 73 years old, died of congestive heart failure. Wow, it seems so... It's unfortunate. We lost a lot of these singers. A lot of them are no longer with us, unfortunately, but their music lives on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's continue here. Here's a request for Evan Blatt. I think he left to go to sleep. He's going to have to watch this on the archive. This group is out of Brooklyn, New York, and this is on the Planet label. This is the same label that There's a Moon Out Tonight first came out on the Planet record label. But I got to ask some of you collectors out there who own this record, if you have it, are your labels reversed? My labels are reversed on this 45, and the group members all signed this record. I have all their names. They all signed this record. I bought this many years ago from Ken Thompson. He sold me this record, but you really don't see this one up there often. But the group is Tony and the Daydreams, and Evan requested this one. The lead singer is Anthony Tony Polemi, Polemi, and he wrote this tune. We go back to May 1959 by request for Evan Blatt, Tony and the Daydreams on Planet Records. It's called I'll Never Tell.
Tell how he left me blue. I'll never tell how much I miss you. I'll never tell how much you mean to me. You came around and broke my heart in two. Now that you've gone, you left me feeling kind of blue. But in my heart I still love you. Still love you. You left me lonely. You left me sad. But in my heart, I'll never be mad. I remember, honey, your lips touching mine, how they would make me feel so mighty fine. And do you remember times that I phoned and they would say that you were not home? I'll never tell how much you mean to me. me.
I'll never tell.
I'll never tell, honey.
As by request for Evan Black there, that's Tony and the Daydreams. Tony Polemini. That's how you pronounce it in Italian. I guess Johnny G, bad pronunciation, and I'm Italian. That one there, May 1959, Tony and the Daydreams on the Planet label. I'll never tell. Johnny G will never tell. Well, I can tell you I'm only playing original vinyl. I will always tell you if I'm playing a bootleg. I've only played, I think, two. Would Relic be considered a bootleg if I played before I bought Bohemian Daddy on Onyx? I did play it on Relic, but the other one that I did play a bootleg on, I will admit, was Pardon Me. Pardon Me on the Marquee label. I don't have an original. I could have bought it from Dave Antrell's brother, but he wanted $2,000 for like a VG. I says, I don't know about that. I mean, will you sell it for $1,000? I said, I'll give you $1,000 for it. He wouldn't go down on the price. Kevin wouldn't budge on the price, unfortunately, but then he ended up selling it. Somebody bought the record. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. We move into 1960 as we head out to Detroit, Michigan. This is the group's lone release that came out on the Cougar label. I like both sides of this record, so of course we're going to play the flip side next week. And I'm featuring the B-side here. I needed a jump side now. And this tune co-written by the lead singer. His name is Tony Johnson. This one from 1960. It's on the Cougar label. I know Dave the Rave loves this label, Cougar Records. These are the Marveliers. It's called When We Dance.
When we dance, I feel the glow of love. When we dance, feel so fine, chills run up and down my spine. When we dance, I feel the glow of love. When we dance, it feels so fine, chills run up and down my spine. Feels so good, like I knew it would. Make me feel like a lover should. Oh, when we dance, hold me close. Tell me, baby, I'm the most. When we dance, I feel the glow of love.
When we dance,
Yeah.
feel so fine.
Whoa.
Chills run up,
Baby, don't you know?
feel so good.
Yeah.
Like I knew it would.
Make me feel like a lover should. Oh, when we dance in the night, squeeze me, yes, and squeeze me tight. When we dance, I feel the glow of love.
Dance,
Girl, baby,
dance,
oh, baby, baby.
That group called the Marveliers. Marveliers from 1960. It's on the Cougar label. It's called When We Dance, and it featured Tony Johnson on lead. Now, after this release, Tony Johnson would become lead of a group called the Magnetics. You know the Magnetics. They record a song called Where Are You on the All Right label. That's another good tune that he does the lead on. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we continue. And up next, a group out of Cleveland, Ohio. I love this record. It's not cheap, I will tell you that much. And it's a request for Nick Nicola. Thanks for requesting this cool tune, Nick. This group called The Creations. It's on the Patty Joe label, which is out of Philadelphia, but the group is out of Cleveland, Ohio. It features Claude Robinson on lead. He wrote this song. Claude would go on to have another single on the Studio label, which is a local label out of Cleveland, Ohio. But first, he was the lead singer of this group called The Creations. This is by request for Nick Nicola, July 1960. The Creations on Patty Joe. It's called You'll Always Be Mine.
Oh my God, you stole my heart.
You stole my heart.
Stole my heart.
When you spoke to me of love, you stole my soul. When you held me oh so close, and you'll always,
Always, always, always.
you could always have my heart. You warm my soul when you kiss me tenderly. You want my soul, and I want the world to see that I'll never, I could never break your heart. Now birds of a feather fly together, and you'll always find lovers in a pair. And the birds, oh, how they sung, and we were all so young. And then we held hands so tenderly, but the summer's almost gone,
Almost gone. Wow, wow.
and the winter's coming on.
Coming on.
And your heart is no longer gay, and your hair streaked with gray. You can all have my heart. And you'll always,
Always, always, always. Always, always, always. Always.
As by request for Nick Nicola there, that is a classic to Group Harmony collectors. Early 60s sound there, July 1960, The Creations on the Patty Joe record label. Claude Robinson, he's the lead singer. He also wrote the tune. You'll Always Be Mine is the name of the tune. What a great tune that is. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we move into 1961 for a request for Mady Campboy, and she wanted to hear this artist born in Algiers, Louisiana. He formed his group The Toppers in 1950 while attending L.B. Landry High School. He was discovered by Imperial A&R man Dave Bartholomew, and he went solo in 1954. He formed his own band, but Mady requested this tune from January of 1961 on Joe Rufino's Ron record label. It's the first of two he had on the Ron label. It's a song he co-wrote. His name is Bobby Mitchell. This is by request for Mady Campboy, January 61, Bobby Mitchell on the Ron label. The name of the tune is called Send Me Your Picture.
When you left me,
January 61 release there, Bobby Mitchell, first of two on the Ron record label. Send Me Your Picture. That one there going out to my number one California listener, Matey Campboy. Thank you, Matey, for your requests. If you want to send Johnny G requests, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If I have the 45, I will feature it, or the 78. I'm accumulating the 78 so far. I have two. I have the flip side of Red Sails in the Sunset, and I have the encores for George Tompkins. The other one's for Joe Shacatano. So if I have the 78, I'll accumulate them for a cool 78 show. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1961, and last week I played a request for Amnon. He requested Ray Pollard and the Wanderers, their 8th release on the Cub record label. The song was called A Little Too Long, and was Darryl, I think, and George Tompkins asked if I could flip the 45 over. Both sides of this record charted regionally, and this one's from June 61. The flip side is a nice rendition that they do of the song I'll Never Smile Again. This charted number 17 on KEWB in San Francisco, California. So by request for George and Darryl, here are the Wanderers, Ray Pollard on lead on the Cub label, their rendition of the tune I'll Never Smile Again.
Do-do-do, never, oh never, oh never, no, never, 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 I'll never, never smile again until I smile at you. Whoa! Never, never laugh again. What good would it do? Oh, for tears would fill my eyes. My heart with you, I'll never, never thrill again to somebody new. Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show of Wanderers there. The great Ray Pollard on lead, June 1961 on the Cub record label. The flip side of A Little Too Long, the song entitled I'll Never Smile Again. And I had a conversation. We were going back and forth on the emails. George Tompkins, I watched some of those old clips where he sang at the UGHA show. And George, I have to agree with you when we were talking about that. It definitely looked like that for Mr. Ray Pollard. And, well, talk about it offline anyway. But I think that I'll say it, that looked like that he lost the
movement of, or maybe lost one of his hands possibly in the war. I think he was in the army, I think, if I'm not mistaken. We were talking about that, where he lost the use of his hand, not his arm, his hand, I think. But I went back to look at some of those old clips where he used to perform at the UGHA shows. I wish I went to those shows. I was too busy doing bad things back then. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we continue here. We are in 1961. All requests for the remainder of the show, by the way. And here's another request for listener Amnon. This gal, she's out of Philadelphia. Actually, she was crowned Miss Philadelphia and Miss Pennsylvania of 1956. And she was married to Lenny Rocco. Lenny Rocco was also a singer, also released records. He had a group called Lenny and the Rocks, and they're backing her up on this tune that originally came out on the Impala label, and then it was picked up by Al Silver's Herald label, and I was deciding, I think the Herald sounds a little bit better, but they're the same stampers. It's interesting. They use the same stampers on the Herald press, but they crossed out the Impala matrix numbers. Pretty interesting. But anyway, this is by request for Amnon. Her name is Sandy Powell. Sandy Powell and a group, January 61 on the featuring on Herald. I showed you guys the Impala. It's called Bon Bon.
Bon, 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 bon. Rope dip dip. Bon, 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 bon. Why did you and hurt me so? I love you so.
As by request for listener Amnon there, that's Sandy Powell. Sandy Powell and group, January 61, originally on the Impala label out of Philadelphia, then picked up by Herald Records, their tune called Bon Bon. We continue here, 1961. This is on Bob Keene's Donna record label. This is a request. This is a request for Rick in Philly. And this artist, he's from Los Angeles, California, had this lone release. His real name is Bobby Dominguez, but he changed his name to Bobby Domino. So I guess he didn't want to be called Bobby Dominguez, so he became Bobby Domino. And that's really all I know. He co-wrote the song here. It's from March of 61. Give it a listen. Tell me what you think. Bobby Domino by request for Rick in Philadelphia. This is on the Donna label out of California. The song is called Marilyn. As by request for Rick in Philly. Rick in Philly requested Bobby Domino, March 1961. That one there in Bob Keene's Donna record label. The tune is called Marilyn. Let's continue here. Let's stay out in Los Angeles, California for a request for Matey Campboy. This is a cover song. This song was first recorded in 1956 by a group called The Youngsters. Came out on the Empire record label. A bunch of groups covered this. The Sparkles covered it in 57 on the Tampa label, but this is a nice rendition that actually, when Billboard reviewed this song, it registered 3 stars on Billboard, and let me see, it's later released on Little Star. Was it? I don't know about that, Charlene. But anyway, this is from March of 1961. This is by request for Matey Campboy. These are the Viceroys. The Viceroys on Art LeBeau's Original Sound record label, and their rendition of the tune Dreamy Eyes, going out to Matey.
Are you dreaming of dreamy eyes? Who do you really love? Who holds the key to your heart? Tell me, dear, who do you yearn to kiss? Open up your heart. Don't torture me like this. Your dreams will drive us apart. Your loneliness, fight for love. You live and you die just for love.
That's there by, whoops, that one there, by request from Matey Campboy. Those are the Viceroys, March 1961, on the Original Sound record label, song entitled Dreamy Eyes. And actually, I'm looking for the other request here, Charlene. Looks like I didn't put it in here, but this is by special request here, and for someone in our chat room there. And Joshua Palomo asked me last week if I had a song by The Blossoms. Yes, I do. He requested this tune on the Challenge record label, The Blossoms. From what year, Charlene, is this song here? Because I don't have it on my list. I probably forgot to copy it in here, did not put it on here, but I had it pulled to play. And Darlene Love, She's on Lead. This is by special request. This is going out to Joshua. Give a listen to The Blossoms. The Blossoms from 1962 or 61 on Challenge Records. It's called Write Me a Letter.
Write me a letter. Wow, wow. Send me a line. Make me feel better. Wow, wow. Say you're still mine. Seems like a lifetime. Have you forgotten me? Have you forgotten? Whoa. I still remember when you went away. My heart was breaking when you left that day. You said you'd write me to dry my lonely tears. I know you're having so much fun, dances, parties, and such. Remember, darling, I'm the one who's waiting to feel your tender touch. Write me a letter, send me a line, make me feel better. Say you're still mine. I want you near me. I miss you so much. So much. I miss you so much. So much. I miss you so much, babe.
As by request for Joshua Palomo there, that is Darlene Love on Lead. That came out September 1961. They're called The Blossoms. The Blossoms, they originally started back in late 1957 on the Capitol record label. In 1961, they were a trio. They signed to Gene Autry's Challenge record label. This is the B-side to their second of three on the Challenge label, again with... they are Fanita James, Gloria Jones, and the lead singer there, Miss Darlene Love. That's a great tune. Thanks for requesting that, Joshua. If you want to send me a request, you can send it to me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. We continue here, as did George Tompkins send in this request for this group out of Nashville, Tennessee. They had two releases on the Dot label. This is the B-side to their second, and a member of this group was Robert Peebles. Robert Peebles, he would go on to have success 6 years later as a solo artist, but he changed his name to Robert Knight. The same guy that had a hit, it was Robert Knight that had a hit with Everlasting Love, but prior to that he was a member of this group called The Paramounts. We go back to March 1961. Give a listen to The Paramounts by request for George Tompkins. It's on the Dot record label. I really like this song. It's called You're 17.
You're 17. It's our night of the year. You're 17 and I'm certainly glad here. You've come of age to be held, to be loved, to be wild. And you're 17. It's our night of the year. You're everything to me, sincerely, my dear. Tonight you're 17, you're so young. I'm in love, your dream. You're 17. You're 17. And as we walk away, I love to hear them say, there goes a foreign girl that's now their dream. She's such a pretty thing. He loved her so it seems. She's 17. It's our night of the year. You're 17 and I'm certainly glad, dear. You've come of age to be held, to be loved, to be wild. And you're 17. You're 17.
As by request for George Tompkins there. I love that tune by the Paramounts, March 1961. It came out on the Dot record label. You're 17 is the name of the tune. Of course, I think on their other releases, they tried to sound a lot like the Turbans and the lead singer there, Al Banks, with that high voice. But that is a cool tune. Love that tune. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, got a few more 45s to go. Now, last week I played a request for listener Lloyd Piper, a rare 45 on the Kiski record label by the Alma Keys. The Alma Keys from February 62. It was called Please Come Back to Me. But, thank you, Lloyd, for your recent email. And he told me that he bought the record when it first came out. He heard it, it was played by a Pittsburgh DJ by the name of Bob Livorno. And he was a DJ on WKPA in New Kingston, Pennsylvania. And but he didn't buy it originally for that side, for the ballad side. He bought it for this side that I'm featuring, that Daryl Letts requested. It's really a rare record. I think it was, somebody put it out, somebody booted the record, but and used actually the Capitol stampers, but the bootleg has a really deep center hole. It's pretty deep. I thought I had my boot filed away, but it's in the other boxes. Actually, I have 2 copies of this record, believe it or not. But anyway, this is by request for Daryl Letts, this one from February 62, the Alma Keys. Last week I played for Lloyd, Please Come Back to Me on the Kiski label, but this was the A-side. It was called Jumpin' Twist for Daryl.
Well, there's a chance for the twist. Everybody's doing the jumping twist. Fat and small, skinny and tall. It really doesn't matter about the size at all. Do the jumping twist, do the jumping twist with me. Well, come on, baby, let's go downtown. There's a sweet
That's by request for Darryl Letts there. Those are the Alma Keys. February 1962 on the Kiski record label. It's called Jump and Twist. That was played on that local DJ station there, and that's probably never really got out of that area, so which is why it was a very rare 45. Got a few more 45s to go here, and this next group is out of Queens, New York. It's a request for Joe Shacatano. They had 2 releases on a label called Crossroads, which is out of Flushing, New York. The members consisted of Alfred Inella, Jerry Fruillo, Joey Orlando, Fred Davenport, and the lead singer, his name was Dick Herdman. And this is a cover tune they did, first done in 1940 by Tommy Tucker Time, is that it? On the OK record label? I don't know. Anyways, from June 1962, this is by request for Joe Shacatano. These are the Reflections on the Crossroads label, their rendition of the tune Because of You.
Because of you, there's a song in my heart. Because of you, my romance had its start. Because of you, the sun will shine, the moon and stars will all be mine, forever and never to part. I only live for your love and your kiss. It's paradise to be near you like this. Because of you, my life is now worthwhile, and I can smile because of you. I only live for your love and your kiss. It's paradise to be near you like this. Because of you, my life is now worthwhile, and I can smile because of you.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show as we wind down here. The Reflections there, going out to Joe Shacatano. June 1962 release, came out on the Crossroads record label. Because of You, nice rendition there with the Dick Hardman on lead. 3 more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Up next, a request for Matey Campboy. This is on the El Zarpe record label. This one came out in September of 1964. Actually, this is a cover tune. This was originally done in 1959 by Buck Rogers on the Montel record label, but this is a request for Matey by Little Joe and the Latinaires. Now, Little Joe was really Jose Maria Delon Hernandez, but he was Little Joe on here, and they have a bunch of releases on the El Zarpe record label, both in English and in Spanish. They do both, But this one's from September 64 by request for Matey Campboy, Little Joe and the Latinaires on El Zarpe, their rendition of the tune Crazy Baby.
Crazy, crazy, crazy baby, that's what I am over you. Crazy, crazy, crazy baby, what am I gonna do? All of my life I wanted someone like you. You're sweet to me, and I'm so mean to you. Got me running round in circles, waiting for you to decide if you love me, baby. You'd realize. All of my life I wanted someone like you. You're sweet to me, and I'm so mean to you. Got me running round in circles, waiting for you to decide if you love me, baby. You'd realize. So, baby, be my wife and take this feeling of my life. Crazy, crazy, crazy baby, that's what I'm over you.
As by request for Matey Campboy. At first I was like, I'm looking through the L boxes for Little Joe, because I would have filed it under Little Joe and the Latinaires, but I couldn't find it. I'm like, where is this record? I know I have this record. I have it with the purple label, purple on top and white on the bottom, so I'm looking, but not knowing that it wasn't filed. It wasn't filed in my filed records under Little Joe. It was filed under the other side, Johnny H and the Sinceres, and on the bottom it says vocal by Johnny H and the Sinceres, which is also, by the way, another great record. It's called Why Don't You Write Me? It's a nice rendition of the Jax tune, so I have to play that for you next week. 2 more 45s to go before we sign off here, and this is a request for listener Cheryl Morgan. I have to say hi to Cheryl Morgan. She requested a trio of nurses out of Brooklyn, New York. This record charted number 100 on the Billboard charts back in August of 1963, but it was a number 5 record if you were listening to WMCA here in New York City in the summer of 1963, believe it or not. It features Clara Bird on lead, so by request for Cheryl Morgan, August 63 release by a group called the Charmettes on the Cap label. It's called Please Don't Kiss Me Again.
Please don't
As by request for Cheryl Morgan there on the Cap record label. Those are the Charmettes, August 1963 release, Clara Bird on lead. Song entitled Please Don't Kiss Johnny G Again. No, Please Don't Kiss Me Again, the Charmettes there, going out to Cheryl Morgan. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. If you want to get in touch with me, send me an email, vinyltreasures@aol.com. And you can send me your requests. Getting a lot of requests now. Might have to space them out a little bit, but it's better that I have them so I can find them. And then I can play them for you. And the good thing about it is you can always go to the YouTube chat, or you can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net, and if you want to stream the show live, you can stream the show there, or you can download the show. I know a lot of people put the show on their CD and listen to it in the car. No, they're doing that. Copyright problems. No copyright problems. But you can do that. It's you can take Johnny G along with you wherever you go. But you can also, again, go to the YouTube. Go to YouTube and you can check me out there. There's a lot of archives there. It goes back to 2015, although some of them are old and maybe they don't run as good because I used a different program back then. And I had to get off it because they were going to charge me like, I think, $99 a month to broadcast. I said, are you crazy? I'm not going through that. I'm doing all this for free. This is a labor of love. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I enjoy this. I look forward to this. It's really... Barbara knows I look forward to this. Don't let her hear that. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning into the show and being a part of it and making it a special night. It's a long time, but it goes fast. It really does. I think it does. But our closer tonight, we're closing the show tonight with it's a group from Brooklyn, New York, and it's the final request tonight for my number one California listener, Mady Campboy. She sends lots of cool requests. Her father teaches her in her music, just like my aunt taught me with the music, and a lot. Nick Nicola also with his shows that he did on WFUV. Of course, George Tompkins, all the people that educated me. And here it is. We've flipped the signs, and now we're flipping the things. Now I have people that taught me being the listener, and actually I'm a student really of all those ahead of me, and so it's a little different medium. I don't think anybody else really does this, so it's a pretty cool medium, I think, and I'm glad that I can do it. I'll probably work on the camera. You never know, maybe I can get like 2 cameras. Maybe I can get somebody to come here and hold the 2 cameras, and we'll make this like a live broadcast as Johnny G is babbling on. But anyway, our closer tonight is a group out of Brooklyn, New York, that previously recorded as the Cacti's on Fred Kaplan's Cape record label, but they changed their name to the Relations, and this is the second of 2 they had on the Cape label. It features Robert Burton on lead. Our closer tonight is from September 1963 on the Cape label. It's the Relations, and this is by request for Mady. It's called Until We Two Are One. That is our closer tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in to Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I'll be back next Saturday, 10 o'clock, 10 to 1 a.m. Here we are, did a half hour of overtime. And we're not finished yet, another 2 minutes to go. But please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. If you're into 1960s soul, garage, and some doo-wop, yes, sunshine pop, Dave the Rave's the guy you want to listen to. He begins at 9 o'clock, 9 to midnight right here on Top Shelf. On all the Top Shelf shows during the week, we have DJs on beginning at 8 o'clock, different types of music, but it's all non-hits. You don't hear a lot of hits on Johnny G's show. So if you come here looking for hits, you'll find them occasionally, but you won't find them often. But again, thank you so much again. Thank you, Charlene, again. Charlene is my lifesaver, and I know she wasn't feeling well a little bit this week. She got her second COVID shot, but she's feeling a lot better. Got to be careful with that second COVID shot. But anyway, thank you all so much. I'll see you next Saturday starting at 10 p.m., 10 to 1 a.m. right here on Top Shelf Oldies. So everybody have a safe and happy week. Just want to say, everybody, So long.
The years have come and gone, and we are still together, but I still hope and pray for the day when we two are one. Are one. I know it won't be long. My heart just won't be still. Every time I see peace on its lonely hill, I'm waiting for the day until we two are one. We two are one. I love you so, more than you ever know. I want you for my bride and to be my bride. I'm waiting for the day until we two are one. I love you so. I'll love you for the rest of my life. Come on, baby doll, and say you're mine. We'll be together all of the time. I'm waiting for the day until we two are one. I know we will be one.
That's a great record. I think that Nat requested that a while back. I think he did, but that I love the cat ties there. I really do. Anyway, here's the last two records, folks. Before we sign off here, here was the Charmettes. I have this on a promo. The promos play better. I hate styrene. You know I hate styrene 45s, but that was a Alex liked that record there. He likes those up-tempo sides, but I know a lot of my listeners lean ballad, so I like many of you like the ballads. I know that's good. So you send me your ballads. I try to mix them up. This is a great record by the Relations on Cap. Until We Two Are One. What a cool tune that is. Thanks for requesting that one, matey. All your requests, all you guys give me great requests. I'm just happy I have the records. I don't have them all, unfortunately. I would like to have them all. I would like to have them all in mint, but it's kind of impossible. I mean, I used to spend a lot of time looking for the records, but I haven't bought a record. I mean, an expensive record. It's been, well, I did. I bought that Buccaneers on Southern. That was a little bit expensive. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in again. Charlene, again, thank you so much for all your help, especially when you weren't feeling well. But Charlene is smart. She wanted to prepare ahead of time, and she did that. Good thinking by Charlene. Again, so I'll be here next Saturday again at 10 o'clock for more records out of my collection, more of your requests, so stay tuned for that. And wouldn't it be nice if I could retire so I'd have more time to do this and it'd be nice and easy and I wouldn't be late so George Tompkins can scold me when I'm late. I know it's not good to be late, but I think Clark was late a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he went off exactly at 10 o'clock. But anyway, all right, folks, Johnny G's got to go relax. Have a great night, guys, or have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday again. Maybe during the week. You never know. I may pull a box out and just play records. But again, thank you so much, folks. Everybody stay well, and I'll see you next Saturday night. Bye-bye.